Hello everybody and welcome to a very special As I See episode. Today I'm running a first ever figure giveaway. The prize, this Godzilla 2019 figure, that of which I previously reviewed on my channel. To win, subscribe to this channel and comment Go Go Godzilla and you are automatically eligible to win. With that out of the way, let's not stall this review any further and get on with the movie. Released in 2019, Godzilla King and Monsters felt like a long road to travel through. Truth is though, after the release of Godzilla 2014 though, we were guaranteed a MonsterVerse, at least 3 Godzilla movies. It was clear at some point Godzilla 2 would happen, but not under the banner of Gareth Edwards. This is due to the fact that he was obligated to direct Rogue One, which placed Godzilla 2 on the shelf beyond 2016. The projected release date was a pretty rocky road. I mean, we were projected at least 2016, then pushed to a concrete 2018, then eventually late May of 2019 was when the movie actually came out. If anything, what helped avoid this wait was the fact that we had a Godzilla anime series, Skull Island and Shin Godzilla. But as a fan, during those 5 years, we all knew the bar was high during this time, finally having an American Godzilla film have a sequel. Godzilla 2014 set the structure and the tone, but it was up to this movie in particular to make sure we could guarantee a third film. Even before this movie came out, it was pretty clear that King Kong would be joining the picture. Add on the fact that yes, in the last movie there were no Toho originals other than Godzilla himself, but the question was, if there's a sequel, who would be the key monster from the past that would show up? What classic kaiju would be pulled from the roster and brought to the legendary MonsterVerse? And boy did the legendaries show up with the big guns, with Rodan, King Ghidorah, Mothra, all making their grand appearances together on screen for the first time together since Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster. Look, as a fan, this was a proud moment to see how far the Godzilla series had evolved from the 60s. We watched them on screen as guys in rubber suits grow to become kaiju icons, now taking to major Hollywood blockbuster films. This was the dream I hoped to see accomplished when I saw Godzilla 98. Unfortunately, that movie didn't make it any further than one movie. It took some time, a new iteration of Godzilla to make it happen, but we're finally here. So one can only hope this movie would be a success and hope that Godzilla vs. Kong would be explosive. One of the first images. Oh, I'll never forget the buzz at G-Fest 2018. It was there in the air. Knowing we finally got a first look at the new Godzilla movie, finally! The hype was in the air and the main four would get a chance to showcase themselves in front of audiences around the globe. So talking about the reception of this film. This was one of those movies that kind of disappointed at the box office, but yet it was loved by fans. If you watch my review of Godzilla 2014, you'll understand that I just was very critical of Aaron Taylor Johnson's character and Elizabeth Olsen's character as well. To me, the characters just never felt like they were long-term players in the Godzilla series, but more so just one movie, and they didn't seem to have a lot of drive either. Neither of the characters are in this film for the record. It's nothing I lost my mind over, honestly. In fact, I don't think I've ever met a fan that was like, wow, I wish those two were in this movie. In fact, the most central characters from Godzilla 2014 that return is Vivian Graham and Dr. Serizawa's characters. And for the record, I do want to say I don't want to act like reoccurring characters has been a constant thing in the Godzilla series, but here, we're shaking things up with Kyle Chandler. Ironically, who will also play a part in Godzilla vs. Kong, making him one of the few actors that's going to interact with 2 iterations of King Kong. Additionally, we get Vera Farmiga and Millie Bobby Brown. Okay, so maybe this is me, but these 3 core characters in this film, I'm a bit more intrigued with, and I care a bit more about them than either of the characters we saw in Godzilla 2014. Due to the fact this is a far cry from Taylor Johnson's, dude, where's my wife? Or the cliche guy who's in the wrong place at the wrong time. The 3 of these newly introduced characters, their story arc actually begins at the end of Godzilla 2014, but we don't get to see it from their point of view till the beginning of this film. And it's just not a different point of view, but this family is also mourning loss and is torn. So while many celebrate Godzilla for fighting off the Mutos and being the hero, realistically, there is somebody who is dealing with loss during the events of the San Francisco incident, which will cause them to become vindictive towards Godzilla, leaving the city in ruins. Moving on from that, we're also introduced to Mothra and the Orca, which acts as a sonic device which can lock alpha frequency. This ends up calming Mothra, but we're introduced to another layer of this film, Alan Jonah, who is our main human antagonist, and his followers. Now Emma and Madison are hostages, but the intentions are slightly unknown to the viewers and to where it will lead. Where do we end up? Outpost 32, which holds Monster Zero. The general premises of this film tries to go further than just Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, and Rodan in this film, due to the fact that we have 17 other kaiju in this film. Essentially, the world belongs to the monsters. Lots of debate ensues about how to handle these kaijus. How can we possibly coexist with them? Do we protect or do we fight? Other questions is, how is Godzilla traveling from place to place quickly beyond our imagination? Where are these kaiju also being released from? Which is kind of a hint towards the Hollow Earth, which was introduced in Skull Island. King Ghidorah becomes our second kaiju to be released, and now we run into the issue of not one, but two alphas. How can they coexist on this planet together, Godzilla and King Ghidorah? There can only be one. A battle for dominance to determine the true king of the monsters. So the title of this movie is a little more than just a catchy title, or a wink towards the 1954 American release. One of my favorite aspects of this film is they didn't switch up King Ghidorah's origin story. They made it stick to extraterrestrial life. They could have made King Ghidorah, an ancient dragon that existed way back, but no, they didn't do that. Let's look at it this way. Gareth Edwards had approached most of Godzilla 2014 simply making sure the kaiju were part of nature's way, basically of Earth. However, I have nothing against the idea of bringing something from outside the planet Earth into the series, because hell, that's what the Godzilla series has been known for. That is a key component. In a sense, King Ghidorah has a sense of uniqueness, being an alpha from an alien world. He disregards Earth's natural order, but he has control over other kaiju on our planet. Outside of that, King Ghidorah probably has the most personality overall in this film. Each head, with a personality of its own, depicted in a unique way. First, we have the center head, which is the leader, weighting towards more of a psychopathic side. The right head, more focused in battle, controlling his mentals. Then we have Kevin, the meme, the legend, the Kevin. Yes, left head Kevin, the dim-witted, distracted one. I have nothing wrong with this idea of how King Ghidorah was portrayed in this film. In fact, I think this was really unique for a change, because honestly, other movies, I don't feel like the heads differ that much. The best part is, despite Kevin being dim-witted, this doesn't take away from the terror or the danger that King Ghidorah is. Like seriously, King Ghidorah is still final boss material in this film. He's not to be with. Fight scenes in this film do lots of extreme justice. Visually, there's way more to see than Godzilla 2014. It's an extremely colorful film. So if cutaways and news broadcasts and shaky camera were not your thing in the last movie, then hey, this movie is going to give viewers what they want to see. You will be guaranteed the following: various kaiju mixing it up. Brand new original kaiju that, yeah, sure, will have less screen time, but more screen time for the monsters we know and love. The next plot point for this movie heavily implies the Titans are the cure for our planet, which is slowly dying, all at the hand of mankind. Releasing the Titans may be the only way to heal the Earth, which means our planet to continue, we must coexist and allow the Titans to become the predominant power once again. Which means we gotta take the backseat. In this film, where things take a bad turn for the worse is when things don't go as planned and Godzilla is nearly killed by the Oxygen Destroyer, leading to Ghidorah becoming the alpha and take control over all the kaiju on the planet. Now that he's in control, our planet will be simply destroyed and we will be wiped out. Alright, so I want to pause up and talk about the Oxygen Destroyer in this film. Possible hot take. While I do love the fact that it's here, it feels like a throwaway fan service. No real direction, no real idea other than leaving Godzilla inactive for a moment of time during this film, so there's a little bit of panic for the characters in this film. Could this be expanded upon? Absolutely, it could be. I think you gotta know that you gotta hope that maybe someday we can bring in Destroyer, because it's all laid out already. It doesn't feel like that anybody's really thinking long term with it being inserted into this film, if you understand where I'm going and what I'm saying right there. For the most part, near the end of this film, this feels like a Roland Emmerich scale destruction film. Battle sequences that will definitely be pleasing. But while this is a step forward, there are some steps backwards. I gotta be critical of certain things. This movie, its tone feels like it's a far cry from Godzilla 2014. This movie has a lot of comical relief and random sexual references.
Her and Godzilla, they got a thing going on?
I'm all for a good joke, but some of the sense of humor feels exhausted by my third viewing of this film, and it kind of takes away from the more serious moments in this film. It's almost like this film wants to be an MCU film just really badly. At the end of the day, in terms of legendary Godzilla films, this has to be the best that they produced so far. Is it better than Skull Island in my opinion? No, I think Skull Island is a better film. With that all said, it's still a great watch for fans. If you're somebody that is new to the Godzilla series, this is a good introduction to the vast catalog of many films throughout the years. So one other thing I need to put a little extra emphasis on is the fact this movie has an incredibly goated soundtrack. Like, we have our original parts, which are really memorable, but then after that we have our throwbacks towards the Toho era of Godzilla. Let's all credit Bear McCreary for this, producing a fire soundtrack. As far as sound effects go and the audio department goes for this film also returns back to the classic Godzilla roar, which was spine-chilling and a nice surprise in this movie. To top it off, let's not forget about Serge Tankian's cover of Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla. I might get called out on this sin, but I never cared for System of a Down when I was in high school. I don't know why I overlooked them, but this cover, perfect. Perfection. I can listen to it any day. Finally, we get another post-credit sequence reminding us that Kevin, yes, did lose his head in the underwater battle sequence against Godzilla. So where are we going with this? Is it A, Mecha King Ghidorah? Or is it B, are we building towards Bagan finally getting a moment to take the lead antagonist role in Godzilla vs. Kong? If you answered A, you're close with the mecha concept. If you answered B, put your clown outfit on now. I don't know. We'll talk about that next time, because we have the next video, which is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong, the most recent release movie in the entire Godzilla series, at least for now. That said, thanks for joining me in this As I See It, Godzilla King of the Monsters As I See It. Like, subscribe, and good luck to you guys in the comment section trying to win that Haya Godzilla. The winner will be announced in 2 weeks once I debut Godzilla vs. Kong. Have a great day.